when it comes on. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, beautiful people out there. Welcome to healthierlife.tv. Today, we're going to be unraveling the nutritional minefield part 3. My name is Warren Connolly, coming to you from Hungary, and my co-presenter is
Paul Bursey from London.
Welcome, everybody. So, as I mentioned, unraveling the nutritional minefield part 3. And we're going to be talking a little bit off the beaten track today in terms of content. So we're going to be talking about stuff that you don't really hear too much about. Besides one item in particular, you do, but not many people really talk about what it does and what it's really good for. So,
absolutely, yeah. It's well, look, the whole thing about nutrition is if you're trying to explain it, it can be quite complicated. The question is why do we need help with our diet? Well, it's very simple. The body needs specific nutrients for it to function properly. As you've heard, we've spoken about most of the essential nutrients. We were speaking about vitamins and minerals. Okay, we've not covered everything as far as the minerals is concerned, but these are micro nutrients. But then we got the macronutrients that we speak about on other programs, like the protein, fats, carbohydrate, and water. But the bottom line is when we go along to a health shop or we get to speak to someone, it can be very complicated, time consuming, and we switch off.
Sorry, what were you saying there?
Sorry?
I missed what you were saying. Sorry, what did you say?
No, I'm just saying that.
I switched off for a second.
No, that's okay, mate. When we're looking to improve our health and try and top up our diet and things like that, what we tend to do is go to a health shop or go online and then we read and look at things, and it gets overwhelming. So now we all know that we need a synergistic effect of probably everything. Some things are very, very small, minor, other things are major, and even us doing this part 1, 2, and 3, I can imagine a new person coming on it is going to find it probably complicated, although we've done it simply. And so what people want is a solution at the end of the day, and what we'll do, we'll cover that towards the end. The body is a miracle. If you spend any time doing any form of research, you'll find that everything sort of works together, this synergistic effect, and it's very complex, the body. Now, we haven't got time for all that. Okay, what we're worried about.
Yes, we do, but we're not going to get into that today.
No, yeah. Now, what we want is the aching in our wrist to stop. We want the headache to stop.
Yes.
We want to have a stomach that doesn't feel like it's going to be sick, or we've got to go to the loo all the time. Any aches and pains, maybe something to do with our eyesight.
And we don't want to necessarily be worrying about whether we're going to have a heart attack when we reach 50.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it goes on, and even that takes you down so many different rabbit holes. Now, we can't guarantee what you eat is going to do the job, and for various reasons. And we're not going to go into it, but it's gone down. Food has gone downhill. I don't care what anyone says.
Yep.
And you need help. We need variety. We need diversity. And what we're going to talk about towards the end, which I'm going to get Warren to do, is we have a very, very simple solution. So we're going to basically talk about 4 different things that we believe the body needs. And the first one we're going to talk about is it your choice, Warren?
Okay, so this is one of the items that I mentioned that a lot of people probably have heard about, but not everybody's particularly familiar with what exactly it is, and that's because the name in itself is quite a jawbreaker for some and complicated for most. It's CoQ10. So it's actually a coenzyme. It's a family of enzymes, and it works as a very powerful antioxidant, and it's produced naturally within the body. But as we get a little bit older, particularly from like the age of 30 to 80 or so, if you live that long, your body doesn't produce CoQ10 as much as it did in the past. So it's a fantastic supplement, nutritional supplement for these various reasons. Namely, in that the cells use CoQ10 for growth and maintenance. So as we're getting older, our body's ability and our cells' ability to regenerate and regrow is significantly diminished, especially if our nutritional value, our sources of food, is not up to par. Then our body is going to age and deteriorate even faster. So if you're taking something like a CoQ10 supplement, it's going to aid in maintaining and, if possible, growth of your cells. Okay. It's also good for people that have had a heart condition in the past. Okay, so they've had some kind of heart condition, mild to moderate, and even in some cases, if it's a severe one. But by taking CoQ10, the chances of you having a heart attack thereafter are reduced significantly. More specifically, 42% of people that take a CoQ10 supplement after having an initial heart issue, their chances of having a second heart attack are reduced by as much as 42%. So that's huge, especially for people that have had heart problems. I mean, Paul and I know people we do business with people that have had heart issues. They're taking CoQ10, they're taking the other stuff that we're going to talk about as well. They're taking, the balanced concept oil that we talk about as well. And that's helped reduce their chances of having a second heart attack significantly, or any heart issues for that matter. It also helps with preventing migraines. And that's becoming more and more of a factor that I see around me in life today. Youngsters are experiencing migraines like never before, from what I see. It's crazy. It also helps with Parkinson's disease, amongst other things. So what else is it? Oh, yes. People that have had heart problems should be careful. You should be cautious if you're taking CoQ10. It's recommended that you do speak to your doctor about it, because it can lower your blood pressure and your blood sugar levels as well. So especially with people that have got diabetes or liver problems, you want to be cautious around that. Not to say don't take CoQ10, because it is still very important to take it, but perhaps you need to just take it with some measurement, if you know what I mean. And also, it has also been shown to reduce total cholesterol levels because of through your blood lipids in your body, and then at the same time increasing the high density lipoproteins, or your good cholesterols. Yeah. Okay.
I read that it's been studied. I couldn't find what the study itself, but on low sperm count.
So it helps with low sperm count.
Mm.
Well, that could be because of the cellular growth factor, cell growth factor, and also it also acts as an anti-inflammatory as well. So it has anti-inflammatory properties to it too. I'm not sure exactly why sperm count, but yeah. Another one, and this is important for all of us as we start to age, is it reduces arthritis and also cartilage damage. So that's a massive one for us fogies as we get older. Your cartilage, your body doesn't produce collagen and cartilage and stuff like that as much as it did before in the past, and so therefore it's beneficial to take something like a CoQ10 to help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And where can it be found naturally? Some things that we don't like to promote as well. Like vegetable oils.
Vegetables, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously meats as well. Meats there's quite a bit of
that was a good one. Yeah.
But the best ones I like, and this is what I would use, is cold water fish, tuna, salmon, mackerel, sardines, things like that. you know, but make sure they're good quality ones.
Again, always good quality meat, of course.
Yeah, so that's.
Unfortunately, most people are probably getting it through their vegetable oil.
Yeah, we don't like that.
But as we know, vegetable oils have many other negative side effects.
Yeah, personally, it's all I use is olive oil for cooking, extra virgin olive oil for eating.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't use anything else.
Well, as I said to you before, coconut oil at a push.
You
know, coconut oil is also something beneficial for you too.
But this Coenzone Q10 basically is like a hidden thing because you don't really know about it. You might go in a health shop and see tablets with this in, which is the main the main product.
The main ingredient.
I think it should, it's like everything. If you bought everything that you're meant to buy, in theory, it would cost you an absolute fortune.
Well, this is the thing, Paul. When I was living in Dubai, I'll tell you now. It's scary. I'm going to calculate while we're on the subject now. I'm going to try to calculate now. So I used to spend. Should I do it in euros or I'll do it in pounds? Seeing as we
don't mind a guess or close to.
But approximately 125 quid a month.
Yeah.
On supplementation. Okay.
And even then you're probably missing some bits.
And then I was missing some bits, yes. But that was 125 quid a month on supplementation. Just stuff that would, stuff. Okay. Now I get more than I ever got before. Okay. I'm paying maybe half that price, and I'm only taking three products.
Yeah.
Whereas before I used to have a cupboard full of stuff. Around about 500 to 600 dirhams. So around about 125, 130 quid a month on supplementation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, money is important, but for me, efficacy is more important.
Oh, the mere fact that I'm only taking 3 products right now, it's just it just highlights the potency and the efficacy of what I'm taking, because I don't need to take anything else. I really don't. And as a wellness professional that's turning 50 next month, I need I should know this stuff. I should know what I need to be taking. So I do, and I get it all from 3 products. That's all I need.
Right, so we'll move on. Let's talk about one of my favourite, and that's curcumin.
Okay.
So basically, it's a yellow pigment found in turmeric. It's a flowering plant. It comes from the ginger family. You know that how healthy ginger is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's best known to most people as a spice that they use in a curry, especially in the UK. Because people live on curries in the UK.
It's
not. Well, part of the time anyway. So
some people claim that curries are England's national dish.
Yeah. Started in Glasgow, I think, here. So I think it did. Anyway, so it's Scottish national dish. So anyway,
a good madras.
So it's also a great polyphenol. Which a polyphenol is something which helps inflammation and helps keep it down. So that's why we have polyphenols. When we deal with our balanced oil, ours is encased in a polyphenol, which allows it to last for well over 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's one of the important things, that they need a chaperone, they need protection, and that's another thing that polyphenols do. And obviously it also increases the ability of the amount of oxidants that the body can produce. So there's more than one thing that it does. And you need high potency but it's like everything else. You need to restrict, control, and watch the amounts. Okay, it's the same with most things. It's very easy to be to take too much, and we don't want that. You need, if you're gonna take all these things, you don't want to think about it too much. You want a simple and easy solution, and know that the scientists are backing it up and making sure you don't have too much.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the problems with curcumin is it's not very easily absorbed by the body. So when you're digesting it, it's poor digestion, and it has to be in a bioavailable form. If it's not in a bioavailable form, you're wasting your money. Okay. Now, with everything that you talk about on the health spectrum, everything needs more research. That is always required.
Continuously,
continuous. And that is what science is all about, because the more you know, you might be slightly going down the wrong route, and then they'll bring it back, and make sure it's down the right route.
But you say that, but a lot of scientists these days have forgotten that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's become big business. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with big companies, I'm sure some great people in big companies, but they get swamped. They get swamped by shareholders and things like that need to be taken care of. Unfortunately, and I think that, I think that you can have a very successful business by promoting something that's great, rather than hoping. And I think it's important, and any scientist should be striving for better all the time.
All the time. That's science.
That's the reason you become a scientist, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's what I say. I think many have lost that path. They've wavered off that path a little bit. But back to curcumin. Another good thing about it is that this is one of my things, is it helps to reduce symptoms of metabolic syndrome as well. So it works on reversing metabolic syndrome and other auto conditions.
Autoimmune, yeah. But it's also, you mentioned that the one I took a shine to as well was it may have moderate improvements in depression and anxiety, which I found quite good, because I was looking in other areas, and also osteoarthritis. And I think that's so. These things, and the reason that you take these things together is so that you have this synergistic effect. For when you eat let's use a complete food like honey. Honey is a complete food. If you look at the list of stuff that's in it, it's unbelievable. And that's the synergistic effect we're talking about. Instead of
that's nature in its purest form. There, in terms of natural food, you're taking it directly from it's the same as going into a cave where there's a bear, or taking guano. Guano is a very powerful antioxidant. The guano coffee that they make, and the chocolate and stuff like that. I think they make chocolate from guano as well. The bat poop. It's very powerful stuff. Because it's natural. And so it's.
Don't people get worried when you start talking about bats?
No, but honey is an excrement from bees.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's almost like bee poop in a sense.
Well, they have the royal stamp of approval, don't they, bees?
That's what we're eating.
Yeah.
That's why I referenced guano, because it's poo at the end of the day, but it's very, very potent.
Yeah.
So
Look, personally, curcumin has been an absolute game changer for me personally. Okay. For me, it's worth its weight in gold. It topped off everything that I was taking, because I just to give you an idea, I used to be an athlete many years ago. Played football for 44 years. Went on to become a football referee, soccer, and as I was getting older, I was getting aches and pains. It would take me a long time to get over matches and things like that, and so I took the balanced oil for that reason, and then I had to up it to a stronger one, which we do, and just about eliminated everything. and the addition of this curcumin topped it off and took the rest of it away. Yeah, so it's you've got to look at trying things out to see what works. And I did this for at least 120 days with the curcumin. Right, that's how long it took me to realise the benefit, and it worked for me. Could it work? Could these things work for you? We don't know.
We don't know for certain, but
no,
because it's a natural substance, and it's a supplement. As you said, you want it to be the source to be from a high bioavailability, but at the end of the day, it's a natural product, so it's going to have a slightly different impact on your body in terms of time frame, in terms of efficacy. You may not even notice the subtle differences until one day, 120 days down the line, you start to notice, okay, that pain has really disappeared now. I can't feel it anymore. But most people, Paul, they're going to take something like curcumin and they'll forget after a week, if they reach a week. They'll because they don't feel anything significant. They don't see anything significant. So after a few days, they're going to forget about it. And it's going to end up sitting in their cupboard or the drawer somewhere, and it'll sit there and gather cobwebs. Because people, not everybody, but many people today, they want quick, fast results. And with food,
it doesn't work.
It's like an impact on everybody.
Well, it's like you're a trainer. You're a personal trainer, right? You don't go to the bars and start doing a few chins on the bar, chin-ups, and then quit after 2 weeks saying, I've done it. It's consistency. It's being persistent at what you're doing, finding the things that work for you, and then making sure you're doing them on a daily basis. Same with anything. Success in business, anything. It's all the same. But look, the bottom line is with curcumin, it's an anti-inflammatory, which is great because you need that for all parts of the body, and it has antioxidant properties, and it stops the old cells rusting, oxidization, and things like that. So it's extremely important. Anyway, that's what I want to say about curcumin. Cool. One of the most important things in my life, anyway. So. What was the next one we were going to do?
It was the beta glucans. So we're talking, beta glucans. Now, this is something that I know most people have never heard of. Okay, but it's basically they are soluble fibers, and you get to 1 to 3 beta glucans, and you get 1 to 6 beta glucans. So the difference between 1 to 3 and 1 to 6 is 1 to 3 is a short branch chain, so that's a fungi, and then the 1 to 6 is a long branch chain, that's a yeast. Okay. And basically, it's good for lowering your blood cholesterol levels. Also, it prevents absorption of carbohydrates into your body as well through the intestine and the stomach. So and then it also has an immune booster benefits as well. So it helps to boost your immune system, because it's basically what it is it's an immune moderator. So it's an immune system moderator, and then because it's a moderator, what it does is it's basically preventing your body from being infected by certain bacteria and things like that. That's what it's essentially doing. It's helping the body to fight off and protect itself against viruses and bacteria, because it's increasing production of chemicals within the body naturally to do that. Okay.
Yeah, because in Victorian times, they used to eat these things all the time, beta-glucans. And that's why they were so healthy, because they were living off the land and different things like that. And what happened as we moved to a more manufacturing base and started removing the beta-glucans, that's when things started going from bad to worse, or from good to worse, and so by taking these things, the beta-glucans out of food and things like that, whereas before they prevented infections, now it's different, you know. And now, and you've seen the chance of heart disease, eczema, diabetes, all these things have gone up.
Increased significantly, yeah.
And you know, it's great that at least one company that I know is introducing it back into the market, as it should be from the original ways. Because years ago, in Victoria times, the way people died mainly was because of bad sanitation and things like that.
True. Yeah,
you know?
yeah, just sanitary reasons. Yeah.
You know, and
obviously when people had certain, if they got a nick somewhere, you know, things like that, they got a bad cut somewhere, then people also died from that as well, because they had no means of cleaning them up, you know, or knowledge to clean them up. But in those days, like you say, Paul, people were eating the food. They were eating some, you know, beta glucans, which are really critical for our health. But that was through mushrooms and baker's yeast, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it makes you laugh, because then they were having in excess of 5,000 calories a day, and because where they were working the land and things like that, they were healthy. You know. And what you look at now about calories now, they suggest I think it's well below 2,500.
Yep.
Well below. I mean, and that's because the food is not grown properly or in the right soil and everything.
It's and plus also because people are, and they know that people are not as active as they used to be.
No, that's right.
So they're also very much aware of this, you know, when they give those guidelines, because they know people are not.
Get active.
Yeah, get active. Stop burning those calories, man. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort it out.
I think we've done that one. The last thing we want to talk about, I mean, you have to understand that there's lots of things we can talk about. We want to talk about the ones that appear to be extremely important. They're all important, but these ones seem to be extra important. We did mention it last week, and that's beta carotene. Okay, again, it's another antioxidant, and it protects the body from damaging molecules called free radicals, and they're the things that dart about between the cells, causing all sorts of damage. And it's an impaired electron, I think, if I remember right. And basically, we have to stop this movement of these free radicals. And the way to do that is through antioxidants. Free radicals damage the cells through a process known as oxidation. So, and that's rusting up.
Basically, yeah, you're basically rusting from the inside.
Yeah. The bottom line, I mean, how many cells have we got in our body, Warren?
Approximately 50 trillion cells.
Okay. If you take the individual cell, we want it to be flexible, malleable. We want it to have the ability to absorb nutrients, and also the ability to get rid of the crap that's in the cell, the build up, you know, toxic stuff and things like that. And that's what we want. And obviously the antioxidants will help that. And you've got all these trillions of cells, and if enough of them become damaged and become hard, they die, and over time you'll get cancer. And that, I suppose, is one of the things. I mean, it's trying to keep these cells alive long enough to always be working for you and not against you. You know,
look, there's when you talk about the cells, the cell membrane hardening up, and then the cells start to die or become toxic and all that. Yeah, the way cancer will work is the cells are basically, cancer is derived from, because the cells are inflamed and therefore they're not able to take out all the toxins out of the cell and fresh stuff to come in and flush it all out. Then the cells that die are regenerated again, but those cells that are dying, they're toxic cells. So over time, the cells are going to create a new programming, and then that programming will be for each cell that comes after that to be toxic. And over time, that toxicity is going to mastate and it's going to turn into a cancer, and other diseases as well, which affect your central nervous system, your brain, all kinds of things like this. So yeah, it's. I made it a little bit more complicated, more detailed, because I want people to understand that it's, these people, cancer and diseases have kind of become like you know, I don't know, like blasé almost with people.
You mean like a badge of honor?
Well, in some cases, perhaps a badge of honor. But I think for most people, we become immune to the idea of cancers and diseases and stuff like that in our heads. Not immune to it biologically speaking, but immune to it in our heads, and that it's become blasé, really, the topic, the subject matter. It's important, but it's important for people to understand where does it root from? Where does it stem from? It's not something that just like happens. It comes from time. Over time, it happens slowly, and then the body's changing its own DNA. You're changing your body's DNA. Every time those cells are duplicated or replicated in a toxic form, you're changing the programming, the signaling that's happening from cell to cell, and then that's when it just grows and it mushrooms, so to speak. That's why you need to eat mushrooms for your beta glucans. But yeah, I'm eating mushrooms today. I eat mushrooms regularly. Maybe not necessarily the right types of mushrooms, because like shiitake and oyster mushrooms, they're not easy to come by, right? But so yeah, it's just important. I feel that it's important that people really understand. Just you don't, as you said at the end of last week's show, when you leaned in, you said, after this show, you don't need to remember anything.
Yeah.
And it's true. You don't need to go and study and research, but just by listening to what I'm saying, what Paul's saying, that's going to have an effect on your subconscious somehow. It's going to.
Yeah. I mean, look, let me give you an idea. You say, okay, so how can I get more of these beta glucans? Not beta glucans. Sorry, the beta carotene and things like that. How do I get more of it? And you eat more servings of fruit and vegetables. But the challenge you have there is where they come from. How long have they been sitting in the supermarket? How are they grown? Are they as rich, in vitamin C and everything else as they should be? And the bottom line is, you don't know. You'll never know. All right?
They're not.
Because things are not appear, and this is not having to go at people that grow apples and things like that. It's just the way of the life at the moment. And if you're looking if you're looking for foods that are rich in it, anything that's orange and yellow, and that made me laugh because then I started thinking about ice lollies, orange and yellow. So we do no, they don't help. But things like peppers, they're great for when it's hot, but no, they're no good. But peppers, the yellow, green, orange, and red, the peppers, squashes, carrots, things like that. So you can eat the right foods.
Mm-hmm.
But we tend to be lazy. We'll more likely have pizza or maybe burger and chips. We've all been there, haven't we?
Mac and cheese, beans and
mac and cheese, whatever. Which is all right on occasion, because we all do that.
Of course.
But generally speaking, your majority of food, you want to be eating fresh fruit and vegetables.
Well, fresh is the other key.
Diets, things like that, So, but and the trouble is, we don't pay attention to it. So we do need some kind of assistance. I don't care what anyone says, because none of us are, or very few of us are. I don't know what the word is. Fastidious enough to make sure that we have the right things, And
look at professional athletes and people like bodybuilders and things like that. They are so fastidious when it comes to their food, but they also need to take supplements as well. And I'm not just talking about supplements to pack on muscle. They also need supplements to counteract the intensity of the training that they do, even though they're eating loads of food and they're eating the right foods, because they also know that they're not getting enough from the food. So they need supplementation. Professional athletes exactly the same. They know they're not getting enough from their food, so they need supplementation. And you're not a professional athlete. That I'm sure that whoever's watching this, whoever's listening to this show today, is not a professional athlete. And if you are, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And you'll, even though you're eating clean fastidiously, that's my new word for the day, fastidious. Then it's you still identify the need to take supplements and supplement your eating or diet. I say diet because it's just so easy to use the word diet. I don't like to say that, but supplement your diet with proper good nutrition that you're not going to get from your food, unfortunately. You said
Yeah.
you most likely don't have as much vitamins and stuff like that in the food that it used to. It's certain it doesn't have as much vitamins and minerals and stuff like that that it used to have. Doesn't matter what it is. It's certain that it doesn't. There's just so many factors today: the soil, the biodiversity of the nature, all these. There's so many different factors. The heat, that the time that takes for these vegetables and fruits to grow these days compared to days gone by. It's so much faster. There's not enough nutrient density in those fruits and vegetables, period, because they're just growing too quickly. They can't be. It's just packed full of carbohydrates because they pump the soil full of nitrogen, and then the stuff grows big and beautiful, and you go to the shops and you go to your, I don't know, I forget the names of the stores in the UK. I forgot the names of the stores. But I use here like Spar, Lidl, Aldi,
Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's.
That's the one that was the tip of my tongue, but it
Waitrose. So there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, you go there, you're going to look for the shiny, clean, unbruised, perfectly presented vegetables and fruits. The bruised ones are probably the better ones for you. But that's not real. That's not how things actually come out from the ground. They don't come out naturally like that. Those are cultivated to look like that. So they're not natural in itself, if you think about it. Not every fruit and vegetable is going to come into the store be perfectly packaged and color and no blemishes on it. It's not. Even if you go pick it up off the tree, it's still going to have blemishes on it.
No, absolutely. One other thing I want to mention: the products that we as a business do are in line with WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Association. I think it's association, and also Informed Sports, which are linked to WADA as well, and they all have certificates saying that they're batch tested by these independent labs and everything else, and
they're safe for athletes.
So professional athletes can use them with confidence, and I think that's, I wouldn't want it any other way, and we know the people behind what we do, excellent top people, and as I say, I'm going to hand it over now to Warren. Warren's going to refer to how we deal with people with our health protocol.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so you I'm sure have heard Paul and I talk at length about the blood testing that we do with individuals, and what we essentially are doing is, we have access to 3 different types of blood testings, and together these 3 blood tests will basically tell us, and even if you just do one of the tests, it's going to inform us as somebody who is already in the business and as health and wellness professionals, what is going on inside your body on a cellular level. Okay, and why it's important to understand that information, because it's telling us whether the foods that you're eating are actually killing you and aging you and causing you to rust from the inside out, or if the foods that you're eating are helping you to live a longer, healthier, more vibrant life. And at the end of the day, from doing that test, not only are you going to have an idea as to where you are cellularly. As I mentioned, Paul asked a question earlier, how many cells do we have in our body? And we have approximately 50 trillion cells, and each cell works independently. However, each independent cell is part of an ecosystem. And that ecosystem, if you think of nature is full of ecosystems everywhere you look. And once you break up that ecosystem and one part of the ecosystem doesn't work as efficiently as it should, for example, you take a river with a delta system in it. It flows into the sea. there's an ecosystem in itself, a delta. But if you dam the river upstream, you're not getting as much natural nutrients and everything that comes in through the soil degradation, soil turnover, and all these different factors that help keep the delta in a healthy state. All right. If you pollute the oceans and you kill all the sea life out of the sea, that's going to affect the delta that's coming in from the river. All right. So they all work hand in hand. And this is how our nutrition works. Our nutrition works in the exact same manner. One end helps the other end, and one side helps the other side, and the parts, all the parts fitted together are like a fine watch put together. You take a fine watch, you open it up, and you're going to find many moving parts within that. That's our body. Our body is full of many moving parts. I've actually heard a scientist say that if you looked at the body on a microscopic level, okay, you would literally see galaxies within galaxies of life. Yeah. And that's fascinating. If you just look out to the stars, we all look at the stars when we get the opportunity at night, okay, even if it's for a brief moment. But for me, I like to look at the stars, and I like to look deeply out into space, because I reflect back into who I am. I know I'm part of all of that, and that's inside my body, and my body's full of life. It's on a microscopic level. Each part of my body is working independently, but also part of a cohesive unit. But you break that up, you take one part away from that, and everything starts to fall apart. So our nutrition, through the blood testing, helps us to identify what it is that you can do for yourself, what lifestyle changes you could start to make in your life, and then you take that balanced concept and you put everything back together again. So now the body can just relax. And then your brain can work properly, your mind, you can focus better. It's like kids that are going through high school and doing exams. When they're on our products, their performance levels, their abilities to assimilate information is increased exponentially. And for elderly folks, it just gives you that peace of mind that when you go to bed tonight, you're going to wake up in the morning with less chance of you feeling aches and pains like you did 6 months ago. You know that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have more vitality and energy. For the busy business professional, you know that you're going to be able to focus and put attention to what's important to you. And at the same time, you may not be able to get as much exercise and activity through your day that you would like to, but by being on our nutrition, your body's been taken care of. And some people even lose fat without even exercising, and they're on our products. And they're not even exercising. But why? Because the product is healing the body from within.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've heard Dave talk about it, and I've heard other people talk about this. It's like taking an old vintage car. I used to have a vintage Alfa Romeo, an Alfa 3.3. All right. And unfortunately, this was just the reality of the vehicle. It was an Alfa Romeo 1980s model. They have technical issues. My car caught on fire once before because of a technical issue. Okay. But fortunately, I managed to save it, and I still managed to drive the car. On the outside, the car looked fantastic, but on the inside, the engine needed desperate help. And I couldn't afford to give it the help that it needed. And eventually the car collapsed. The car just gave in eventually. And that's how we treat our bodies for the most part. Most people, they think if they dress themselves up with the right clothing and the right makeup and hairdo and all this kind of stuff, they're going to look good and they're going to feel good about themselves. And yeah, sure, it does help. But if you're not helping the inside of the body out, how's it going to really help you at the end of the day for the outside image that you see every day in the mirror? And this is what we do. This is how we really help to put the whole ecosystem back into place in a way that it should be naturally. And then you don't need to worry about all the sundry. You don't need to worry about all the other BS that comes with society and life. You really don't need to. It's as simple as that.
I just want to just add a couple of things to that one. Sorry if I cut in. Do you ever see a program called Love Island?
Yeah, a bit briefly.
So it's reality TV. It's it's all these really good-looking people with great bodies and and fantastic physiques and whatever. And and they do look great, but the problem is, unless you know what's going on the inside, that to me is number one. And the other thing is, for all you ladies out there, is that if you want to have better skin,
Oh yeah,
right, do it from the inside. Now, I'm not saying don't spend your billions of dollars and pounds on the creams, which you're going to do anyway, and that's fantastic. But that only affects 2 layers of the skin, and there's 7 layers. But you need to hit it from the inside as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the glow comes from, not the color of the powder you're putting on your face. All right.
Yeah, I mean, think about how often when you see, especially ladies, and they haven't had a lover for a while, yeah, and they go out one night and they meet some guy and they have a great night, a fling. All right. How often you see them the next day, they're glowing. It's because the chemical production in their body is peaking because of what the experience that they've been through, and they're glowing from the inside out. It's not because they put makeup on or whatever cream on their bodies to glow. They're glowing naturally from the inside. Like often you see many pregnant ladies, mothers to be, they glow. It's because of all the chemical reactions going on inside their body because they are carrying a baby, and not every woman goes through that, but some do. So there's two natural examples that I can give you at the top of my head as to why it's important to take care of yourself from the inside.
And here's another one. Think back to the film. I don't know if everyone's seen the film 300.
Yeah.
Okay? We had 300, is it Trojans? I can't remember now.
Trojans, yes.
Yeah, Trojans. Yeah, 300 Trojans against 30,000 Syrians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've got news for you. They lost. Okay, and the reason I say that is a fantastic film, and who'd want to be a Trojan? I'd rather be a Trojan, I've got to say. But they were overwhelmed in the end. Or it doesn't matter how tactically aware they were and how the best fighters the world's probably ever seen. I don't know. But it's the same as your body. In the end, if you don't do the right things, then you're going to be overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And that says everything, So if you need help, what can I say? I mean, look, we're business people at the end of the day, but I'm also a nutritionist, and you've got vast experience in the fitness world and everything else that goes with it, and I wouldn't be involved in something if I thought it was wrong. It has to be top notch for me to do anything. For me to put something in my body, it has to be top notch.
And also, I'm putting my name to it as well.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm a global superstar or anything like that. But that's not the point.
That's what you told me.
I'm putting my name to something, and that means something as well to me, at least. It's a legacy thing.
It all starts with a chat.
That's all it starts with, yeah.
And that's all it is. And if it doesn't progress any further, then it doesn't progress any further. But, it's worth taking a look and listening at what we're doing to see if it's something that might be of interest to you.
Just have a conversation. That's all it takes. A nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
Just put a message on here,
mm-hmm.
and we'll go from there. All right. So, Warren, do you just want to finish this up?
I just want to say that this 3-part series that we've done has been fun because, it has covered stuff that Paul and I are very passionate about and is close to our hearts, no pun intended. But, it is close to us. And we just see examples all around us of people whose lives have changed significantly as a result of what we're talking about. Of them just taking the right stuff with these ingredients, these nutrients, these vitamins, they're taking the right materials to supplement their bodies and their health, and their lives have changed. Me personally, my health has changed significantly. I know Paul's has, but we're just 2 of many thousands of people that we have direct contact with and direct influence within our circles that have had massive changes in their own health. So we know it works. And the data shows that it works. The science that we have, the data through our testing that we do, shows without any doubt or gray areas that what we promote and what we sell and what we market and what we talk about actually works. It does what it says on the box.
Yeah. And we, as I say, as you said, we do back it up. Well, we've done nearly 1 million tests now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
it's a lot of testing, man. It was a hard day. I'll tell you, it was a tough day.
No, they're not all Warrens. No, there are lots of other people doing it as well. But yeah. So with that, we're going to go because we could go on talking, and it doesn't really help anyone to talk any further. If you need help, give us a shout. Okay.
Yes.
With that, we're off. We're not off to see the wizard, but we're going to go and do our thing.
Our thing, and yeah.
Whatever we do for the rest of the day, and we'll speak to you next week, next Wednesday, on healthylife.tv.
And whatever it is that you're about to go and do, make sure you're having fun in doing it, and you're doing it to the best of your own ability, even if it's sitting watching a movie. Enjoy, everybody. Share this message, share this love, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
And don't forget to comment as well.
Yeah, remember to comment.
Great. See you all next week. Cheers. Bye.